This Sunday, May 18th, three elections will determine the future of the European Union. With parliamentary elections in Portugal, presidential elections in Romania, and what we're going to discuss today, presidential elections in Poland. Also, may I apologize in advance to all Polish speakers because I'm about to butcher a lot of names. To give you some background, it was only 2 years ago that the Law and Justice far-right government that destroyed the Polish rule of law and was almost successful in ending Polish democracy was ousted from government by an overwhelming amount of voters pushed by minorities and women to push them out of their long rule of the country. Since then, their party has been able to block effectively every single change proposed by the ruling Civic Coalition, a big, broad coalition of centrist parties that is currently governing Poland. Problem is, Law and Justice still have the presidency, which is up for election this Sunday, and that president can veto any piece of legislation coming through the parliament, and to overturn that veto requires a 3/5 majority, which means even though the Polish people kicked out Law and Justice, they are still stuck with a zombie Law and Justice regime, with Duda, the current president, acting as the major bloc on any progress happening in Poland. Which brings us to this election, where the Civic Coalition is trying to get their candidate, the liberal mayor of Warsaw, to become the new Polish president. So finally, they're able to have laws passed that aren't immediately vetoed by Law and Justice. And in a surprising turn of events, he's actually in first place, which means he will go forward through to the second round. So while Rafał Trzaskowski is in first place, and that is a positive thing, we need to talk about the two far-right candidates running. Polling in second place is Karol Nawrocki. Wow, this guy is in a scandal that really just shows you how horrible Law and Justice was as a government. See, in the last government, he decided that he was going to use his authority to send a civil servant to a prison to pressure an elderly prisoner to sell him his apartment. And then, it gets better. Recently at a debate, Karol decided to lie about how much property he owned, and it's not the one apartment that he claimed. Then we have Sławomir Mencen. Mencen is a TikTok star with over 1 million followers, and like a sign from God, 666,000 Twitter followers. Poland, I'm quite sure that you're pretty Christian. I'm pretty sure that's as large of a sign from God as you're ever gonna get. Mencen comes to us from the even more radically absurd, insane, and wacky party Confederation. They make Law and Justice seem like the most sane person in the room when Law and Justice is already an absurd basket case. Now, the Civic Coalition's candidate Rafał is not my ideal candidate. Personally, I'd probably be voting for Luvica or for Razim. But the reality is you have two very strong far-right candidates in second and third place, and one of them is probably going to get into the second round. So, like everyone's doing and having to do in the same weekend in Romania, people are going to have to suck it up and vote for someone they're not exactly ideal with having, because they really, really don't want Law and Justice coming back in, or an even worse version, Confederation. All of Polish society pulled together to end the Law and Justice government, and it needs to pull together one more time to give it the final boot. Duda has allowed it to exist as a zombie regime blocking all progress, and that needs to end. Poland is on the cusp of becoming the most powerful and successful country in Europe, and it needs Law and Justice to be out of the way to make that surely happen. Because a strong Poland is a successful Europe, so get out there and vote and make it count. Don't let these far-right phonies get in your way and try to use your country again as a piggy bank or an ideological playground for their paranoid delusions. You deserve better. Poland deserves better.